I hope you all do agree that that prayer of St. Anselm that Bishop Vedder had selected for us to recite this coming year before all the Sunday Masses, it is quite extraordinary. It's just a very simple, humble, heartfelt prayer. I am particularly struck, by the part of the prayer that acknowledges that it is God who has bestowed all the good things that we possess, and yet we still do not know him. A part of it, I believe, speaks to, something of our American culture. There's a function of our culture that I'm not sure, that we're always conscientious of. But it has something to do with the work ethic, of our nation. And sometimes how it can interfere with, or at times even collide, with our Catholic faith. And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is that we grow up being told to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Right? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Self-sufficiency. We talk about things that we own, and we say quite adamantly, I've earned these things. I've earned them. And then don't we have, in a general sense, something of a disdain, for beggars, for panhandlers? Without knowing their circumstances, we freely determine that they're lazy and they need to get a job. Get a job. I've earned my money, go earn yours. And this is kind of the culture in which we live. And we can adopt these things without really realizing it. And what it does is that it removes from our sight, God, who is the source of all goodness. All the good that we are, all the good that we have, has been given to us by him. There are no exceptions. None. And I think in that sense, it's hard for us to be grateful. It's hard for us to be grateful. Because you know what? You cannot, let's just be blunt. You cannot say in the same breath, oh, thank you, God, for this great blessing, and then turn around and tell someone you earned it. That's not Catholic. That doesn't compute. But how does this translate? I just want to share with you, how about a Catholic fun fact for the first Sunday of Advent? Here is the typical Roman Catholic attitude toward what God has given us and our response to his generosity. Thorough studies have been done of the tithing habits of individuals, Christian and non-Christian. What do people give in support of the institution that represents their religious faith, regardless of what that faith is? Among Christians, Catholics rank at the very bottom of the list. Nationally, Roman Catholics tithe to the church 1.4% of their income. There's your Catholic fun fact for the first Sunday of Advent. Let's move on. On December 25th, We are not merely celebrating a historical fact. That's another thing, that kind of gets lost, and that's the whole beauty, I believe, of the Advent, season. That the Advent season, is given to us by the church. It's a season rich in grace to open and dispose our hearts to receive Jesus Christ anew, with a greater, more generous, more joyful welcome, to invite him more deeply into our lives. Right? We get to do this every year. And why do we get to do this every year? Because by this time next year, you write a little diary note, somewhere where you can find it. You say, these are my resolutions, for giving Christ a more generous welcome into my heart this year, as I celebrate his birth. And then document maybe any progress, and then seal it, and then open it again next year on the first Sunday of Advent, and it will answer itself why we need Advent every year. But let me assure you, that when we celebrate Christmas, we are not celebrating a historical fact as if we were celebrating the 4th of July. The signing of the Declaration of Independence is a historical fact. And it's a fact that was completed in the past. And we can commemorate it. But that fact still remains in the past. That is not the case with the birth of Jesus Christ. We are not commemorating, we are not celebrating a historical fact. We're celebrating that which is very central to the Christian mystery. The incarnation of Jesus Christ, the Word through whom all things were made, became flesh and dwelt among us. And when that Word became flesh and came to dwell among us, nothing remained the same. Everything was changed, whether people liked it or not. Case in point, how do we mark time? Now, I know most of you, like myself, we were taught that time was either BC or AD, before Christ or Anno Domini. But in order to make the world more fair and inclusive, we were begun told to adopt this before the Common Era and after the Common Era, whatever that means. I have no idea. Because at the end of the day, it still points to the fact that something happened that changed the way we document time, and nothing you do can change that, whether you like it or not. And that's exactly what takes place when we allow Christ into our heart. You allow Christ into your heart, and as Bishop Robert Barron likes to say, he'll immediately begin rearranging things. He'll begin rearranging all the furniture in your heart and make it a place more suitable, more hospitable, where he can dwell and be pleased to dwell. And that becomes the whole point of it, isn't it? Of our Catholic faith. As I've mentioned before, and we'll continue to mention, that if we don't have a real and personal and intense and intimate friendship with Jesus Christ, what's the point? What's the point? When people are interested in coming into full communion with the church, when I sit down and visit with them, that's the question I have. That's the point of departure. Why are you here? If you want to join a church because its moral teaching represents what you believe and corresponds to your political ideology, so you feel good about how you vote, well, then go find another church or stay home. Stay home. But if you're here because of your love and your friendship with Jesus Christ, then you found the spot, haven't you? Now we have found the spot. Because without Jesus Christ, nothing makes sense. Nothing at all. Look at what St. Mark is doing in today's gospel. Jesus Christ is talking to his disciples about the end of time. And after his description on the end of time, then he leaves them with this exhortation: be watchful, be alert. But look at what St. Mark does. This is very intentional. He says, you do not know when the Lord of the house is coming. And then he names the 4 watches of the night: evening, midnight, cockcrow, or morning. Those are the 4 night watches. At the conclusion of his gospel, as he narrates the passion of Jesus Christ, he takes great pains to mark each of those 4 watches of the night. And then we're forcibly reminded of Jesus rising from his prayer in the Garden of Gethsemane, finding his disciples sleeping. May he not come suddenly and what? Find you sleeping. What St. Mark is communicating to us is that the Christian mystery is multivalent. There are so many layers. But you see, you really can't separate them out one from another, as if they had no bearing or no relationship with each other. Because they all do. Because the entire Christian mystery is, in fact, the entire mystery of the person of Jesus Christ, the Word made flesh. And so it's, as I said, we're not commemorating the birth of Jesus Christ in December 25th as a historical fact, but as a present reality. Just as we don't celebrate the Holy Eucharist as a reenactment of the Last Supper, it's not a reenactment of the Last Supper. It was during the Last Supper that Jesus Christ instituted the sacrifice of his body and blood. That's what he said to do in memory of him. You see, there's where you start to make some of the distinctions, right? To look at the things that were done in the past, and open our eyes, to the things that are present here, and now. Anyway. Season of Advent begins. There's going to be a lot of partying. There's going to be a lot of festivities, and the world goes the way that the world has to go. This for the world, is simply a commercial event, and a very profitable one. We can't allow ourselves to get caught up in it. We honestly can't. Is there room to enjoy some of the festivities, and some of these things? Well, of course you can. But it's how are they being ordered? How are these things being ordered? Are they assisting you to prepare, to receive Christ into your heart, with greater generosity, greater joy? Or are they distractions? Or are they distractions? Because, the beautiful thing, what the world is going to miss on December 25th, do you know what they're going to miss? After a month of celebrating, and commemorating and feasting and drinking and things and so on and so forth, knowing in the back of their head, that, at the end of the day, the reason why there is a Christmas is because Jesus Christ was born, but they don't really care. They'll be too tired and groggy and will be sleeping most of that morning. But what will we be doing? We'll be here. And who will be present, in our midst, in the celebration of his Eucharistic sacrifice? The Word made flesh, through whom all things were made, by whom we were made, by whom we were redeemed. What a great privilege, what a great joy to wake up on Christmas morning and not have to travel all the way to Bethlehem, or not to wish that you could have been there 2,000 years ago, but to be here and to know with the certainty of faith that that event, that mystery, is timeless, and in its timelessness is always present. And we get to be here for that. We get to be here for that.